it's Knox, and today we are going to be recording a quick demo on how to install a Kind cluster on Ubuntu 22 and then connect it to the Carbon Black container product and to the Carbon Black container cloud. So the first thing we need to know is that Kind needs a particular size of machine. Now in my case, I'm going to use an EC2 instance from AWS, and I gave it a T2 medium to make sure that it was large enough. That one has 2 cores and 4 gig of RAM, and it'll work just fine. I have here, this is a GitHub repository that I created that is public. Install Kind Carbon Black container. You can go find this out there. We'll probably have it linked wherever the video's at so that you can grab this. My intention is to do my best to keep this updated. In case anything breaks or anything changes, you'll be able to quickly install a Kind cluster on Ubuntu and then connect it so you can do some testing, demoing, whatever it is you need to do. So we have the instructions here. We need to update Ubuntu, install Docker, start the Docker service, add the user to the Docker group. I'm glad I have that here because I forget that a lot of times after I install Docker. We need to install Kind, then we need to install kubectl, and then we need to start our new Kind cluster. Now you can go through all these steps individually if you want to, but what I did in here is I made a nice script. So we're going to use my script. So I'm going to right click on this raw here. If you didn't know that GitHub lets you do this. And I'm going to just Control A, Control C to copy. We're going to go over here to Vim and we're going to create a file called install kind.sh. I'm going to hit I, just simply paste that in, escape, colon, WQ for write quit. And there we go. Now we need to chmod plus X, that's for execute this file so that this file becomes executable. And now, we also need to run this as root. So we're going to do sudo sudo, we already chmodded it, install kind.sh. And so if we look at the script, we'll back up over here. The script is going to update and install Docker.io. That's what it's still doing right now. Then it is going to use system control to start the Docker service and then enable the Docker service. That makes it so that if the machine reboots, Docker will automatically start. We're going to install Kind. It's going to grab the Kind binary. It's going to chmod that, and then it's going to move it into user local bin so that it's available in the path. Then we're going to install kubectl. It's going to do exactly the same thing with that. Then it's going to create an alias for kubectl, and it's going to source the bash rc. Let's see if that worked. K get I'll just do K. It didn't find it yet. If I exit and come back, still not there. All right, we may have to run that command again. But we should be ready to do these steps right here. So we're going to add the Ubuntu user to the Docker group. We're going to run this handy little new group, Docker, and that makes it so that I should be able to run, yes, a command like Docker PS and everything's fine. We're going to try to run this alias command again here and see why that didn't work, because I really like having this command in here. There we go. All right, so K. So now we're ready to create a Kind cluster. And we see over here that to do that, we need to do Kind create cluster name and then our cluster name. So we're going to copy that. And we're just going to name this Nox kind install demo. I like descriptive names. So now we're just going to give this a second. If you don't know what kind is, while this is installing, we'll go over here. And I also linked this at the bottom of, if you go back to the root of the repo here at the bottom of my README, I've got kind quick start guide, which will just take you to right here, this kind quick start. And if you go here, you'll get more information about kind, how to install it, which I'm already showing you how to do that here. And then like here, this one's important, interacting with your cluster. So if you click on that and come down here, it's going to tell you a little bit more about how to get info on your cluster, how to delete your cluster, different things like that. Just things, nuances to kind itself. If you don't know what kind is, kind stands for Kubernetes in Docker. That's where kind comes from. So here we go. Kind is now up. All right. So if we have if I do kind get clusters, there it is. Nox kind install demo. So we've got the cluster now. Now we're going to go to the Carbon Black Cloud, and we're going to go to Inventory, Kubernetes, Clusters, and we're going to click on, well, I'm going to stretch my screen out just a hair. There we go. Add cluster, cluster name, and we're going to name it the same thing, Nox kind install demo, cluster group Nox. We'll hit next. Same thing for API key. We'll make a new one here. Nox kind install demo. Next. And yes, we'll take this latest version of the sensor. It's exactly what we want. Now it's going to give us these 3 commands. So we're going to run these 3 commands inside of here. There we go. That one was successful. Let's grab the second command, copied to the clipboard. This one created various CRs that needed to be created. We see here it created the different service account, some RBAC, cluster role bindings, things like that. This one's going to create a secret so that it's able to authenticate. And now we're going to run this last one, the cluster configuration, and install sensor. So we're going to run this guy. And that ran successfully. Okay, now we're going to have some fun, and we're going to do a command. We're going to do a watch. Now we do quotes here, and we do kube control get pods all, close our quotes, and now we can run a watch command on our containers. There we go. That's a nice trick. I like doing that because then every 2 seconds here it's going to update, and I can watch these guys update on the fly. We're going to go back over here and click done. And here it is right here, our Nox kind install demo. It's this one. It says pending install. We're watching over here. We're waiting on, looks like hardening enforcer, and we're waiting on container node agent. So we'll give those just a couple of their seconds. But as you can see, it's not very difficult at all to get a kind cluster up and running quickly, and to be able to add the Carbon Black container product to it. Let's see here. It looks like everybody's up. Let's do a little refresh over here. And our Nox kind install demo. All right. Still isn't quite happy, but that's just because it needs a few more seconds to be able to connect up and for all the data to come into it. But there you go. That is how we can quickly install a kind cluster on Ubuntu 22 and then connect it to the Carbon Black Cloud. Thanks for watching.